Back in playing golf was never in my thoughts.
The Tigers hunted them down, and now he's gone in for the kill. The return to glory.
To have the opportunity to come back, it is one of the biggest wins I've ever had for sure. This has meant so much to me and my family. It's something I'll never, ever forget.
It was a month ago. It was the last time we've seen Tiger Woods. He hasn't played competitively since his win at the Masters. He's now 10-1 this week to win the PGA at Bethpage, where he has previously won the U.S. Open. That's tied for the best odds in the field with Dustin Johnson and Brooks Koepka. It marks the first time he's been favored entering a major since 2013. Let's go out to Bethpage for the first time this week. Two-time U.S. Open champ Andy North is standing by. Andy, top of the morning to you. And let's go directly to Tiger here. I just mentioned we haven't seen him play since the Masters. You would know far better than I. How does that layoff, do you think, impact him this week?
Well, I think, he's handled some layoffs pretty well. You look at his record coming out the first week of the year. He's won quite often his first start of the year back when he was the first version of Tiger Woods. I think the biggest thing is, how do you deal with everybody coming up to you this week and, congratulating you and talking about, what happened a month ago. It's not only in the media center, but also on the practice range and on the golf course with the guys you're competing against. So I think that will be an issue. I think the biggest issue for Tiger this week is going to be the weather. It's cold, it's wet, the golf course is really, really soft. That really changes a lot of things for him. He's been practicing where it's been 80 and 90 degrees. Coming up here now, having to play in sweaters, it's a big difference. And the fact that this golf course is so long, it's going to be a tough test.
For those who don't know, this golf course, Bethpage Black, is renowned for being one of the most difficult courses in the world. There's a huge sign out front that says, don't bother coming in here if you can't play, because you're going to have a very bad day. And take it from me, many people have. But specifically as far as Tiger, how will the weather affect him?
Well, I think, anytime it's cold and damp, that affects you as an older guy. He's 43 years old. And the fact that he's coming off of all the surgeries he's had. So those are the kind of situations that this is a harder week for him than for some of the younger guys. But at the same time, he proved that he could get it done a month ago. He had that early start on Sunday, which was not easy to recover from Saturday. He did that well. It's just going to take some work to be able to stay flexible and loose all week long.
Not going to lie to you, he looked so awesome in that hat over the cap yesterday that I'm going to it. I'm adopting Andy, I'm adopting that look. I need you to pick me up one of those because I thought it was spectacular.
Greeny, I don't think that works for you. I'm going to tell you that right now. I think you need to go either all stocking cap or maybe get one of the hats that the ear flaps come down. That's more you.
I'll tell you right now, if he wins this thing this weekend, I'm not wearing anything but that look for the rest of time. Andy, thank you so much. We'll talk to you as the week goes on. Again, Tiger Woods back on the course and back at another major this weekend. Back to the NFL now, because there's news from there. On Monday, Broncos quarterback Joe Flacco, who the team traded for earlier this year, addressed the media on what was the first day of organized team activities. Flacco was asked about mentoring Denver's second-round pick quarterback Drew Lock. Here's what he said.
Listen, I got so many things to worry about. I'm trying to go out there and play good football. I'm trying to go out there and play the best football of my life. So as far as a time constraint and all that stuff, I'm not worried about developing guys or any of that. That is what it is. And like I said, I hope he does develop. But I don't look at that as my job. My job is to go win football games for this football team.
All right, so Dan Orlovsky is here with us. I'm not going to prejudice the jury by giving my opinion immediately. What did you think of what he said there?
Well, I can appreciate Joe's mindset, but he's wrong. He's 100% wrong. And first of all, let's look at Joe as the player, right? In his last 6 seasons, one time has he thrown for more than 20 touchdowns. One time has he thrown for more than 4,000 yards. So in many ways, he is an aging veteran mentor. When you ask Joe, what's my number one goal? It's I want to go win football games. Well, if you asked him, hey, are you going to mentor Deshaun Hamilton or Cortland Sutton or 2 young receivers for Denver? He would say yes. Are you going to mentor Noah Fant, your tight end that you just took in the first round? He would say yes, because it's going to help us win football games. But let me throw this out, Greeny. Let's say he doesn't mentor Drew Lock, right? And at some point this season, Joe Flacco gets a little bit of an ankle. Nothing severe, but he gets an ankle. Lock has to go play for a half or another game, doesn't play well, and they lose. You get to the end of the season, they miss the playoffs by a game. You didn't achieve your goal of getting wins and making to the playoffs because you refused to mentor the young kid. He's going to take your job eventually. They drafted him for that. So he's wrong thinking, oh, I can mentor certain people, but not others.
I would add to that, why say it? I mean, of all the things to say, that's the easiest question in the world to answer. Look, I want the kid to be great, and I'll do whatever I can to help him. You don't have to mean it. Right. I mean, the reality of it is, obviously, Flacco wants to play and play well, and this is the second consecutive place he's been now where they drafted someone to take his job. But it costs him nothing to just say what he should have said rather than make himself look the way he now looks by saying what he actually said.
100%. And your point of the way you look, I think of, like, I played for 12 years. A great majority of that reason was because I was willing to mentor and help. I made a career out of it. I think of guys like Matt Schaub or Matt Hasselbeck who went to the Super Bowl, or a Josh McCown who their character, their reputation has carried them to play 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 years, make another $30 or $40 million because they are willing to mentor guys. So yeah, we know you want to win games. We know you want to play well. All you have to do is say, I'm here to help everybody. That's my job. I'm here to help everybody. And you now have set yourself up to play a bunch more years and make a bunch more money.
Literally. He could have said anything in response to that question. He chose the worst thing to say.
And if
I don't see that as my job, I still can't believe it.
And if I'm Drew Lock, I'm going to go like, man, I'm not fired up to sit in this quarterback room now because I've got the guy going, I don't really want anything to do with you.
Of course. I mean, you have set up a terrible situation, and that was completely self-inflicted. All right, Dan, well done. We'll get back to you as we go. Meanwhile, we talked about the Western Conference Finals, which start tonight. The Bucks and Raptors in the East will start tomorrow. The Raptors seeking their first appearance in the NBA Finals ever, while the Bucks haven't been there since 1974. They still played in the Western Conference. Now, the Bucks won the regular season series 3-1. They've not met since January. The betting underdog, by the way, won all 4 of these games outright, with the road team winning 3 out of 4 for whatever that is worth. And these teams are led by 2 of the best players in the world. Giannis averaging over 27 points a game this postseason, while Kawhi is averaging over 31. So let me take that back to the table here, and let me turn to Terry Rozier again, playing in the East. You just went up against Giannis, of course, and after winning game 1, they won 4 straight from you guys with the Celtics. If you had to put it as specifically as you can, we can all see how great Giannis is. What makes it so difficult to stop him?
He draws so much attention. If you don't have 2 or 3 guys loading to the ball when he's attacking in transition or in the half court, then you're screwed.
You're screwed. And they have done a good job, you were telling me earlier, of putting players around him that they will make you pay when you do bring all that attention.
Yeah, you got guys that Brook Lopez never really shot the ball his whole career, shooting the ball and stuff. Now, I'm not saying that's the reason, but you got guys like him that can shoot the ball that's around him, and they can really stretch out, play all 5 guys out, and they make it tough.
And Coach Tibbs, you're a legendary defensive strategist. What is the defense against a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Well, it's tough. You got to match up, I think, with size on him. You do have to give help. The hardest thing is in transition when he's coming at you with a head of steam because of his ability to get to the rim. But not only get to the rim, draw fouls, and then make plays to create threes. But I thought Milwaukee made a critical change in their series after game 1 when they inserted Mirotic into their starting lineup. They created more space, and then he was able to draw more fouls, which I think hurt the Celtics.
Yeah, no doubt. And let's go to the other side here, and a guy like Kawhi Leonard, who you faced up against this year as well. How would you put, as specifically as you could, what makes him so good?
He just gets it done in his own way. Like I say, he's not flashy. He's not a guy that we look at our superstars today that go out there and give you 1,000 dribbles. He go out there and do stuff in his own way, but he's very effective. Do
those guys go head-to-head? I mean, as we match up the pieces in this series, it seems to me they should be guarding each other a lot, right?
Some. I think in transition you'll see it, and I think maybe at the end of the games, if you're Toronto, you have to be concerned about Giannis's ability to draw fouls. So I think you probably see Siakam on him, probably more to start, but at different points you'll see Kawhi on him as well.
Let me ask you the impossible question. Which of those 2 stars would you rather have on your team?
That's a great question. I think today, right now, Kawhi is probably the better shooter. And he's a terrific all-around player in terms of defense. Giannis, the upside. Giannis is probably, and that's hard to say because Giannis is probably the MVP this year, and he's still going up. He's still improving.
And I'll give it to you in the reverse way. Which guy ruins your night the night before more, thinking about going up against him, Kawhi or Giannis?
I'm gonna have to say Giannis just because they just beat us. So
yeah,
but
right.
both are very tough.
And he's got a little nasty to him too. Like the thing you notice about Giannis, he seems to have developed. Does he talk a lot on the court?
Not really, but he got a little trash talk in him.
Does Kawhi speak at all? Like, I mean, do you even know what his voice sounds like on the court?
He don't even talk in interviews. So
I'm with you. Okay, I'm glad it's not just us. Anyway, tonight it's a big night for the NBA on ESPN in every conceivable way. First, we have Countdown, 7 Eastern. Then The Jump, live from Chicago. Then the Draft Lottery. And then finally, the Piece de Resistance. Game 1 of the West Final, Trailblazers and Warriors. It's all tonight. It's all on ESPN. And it all streams live on the ESPN app, so you can watch from anywhere. Coming up, here's the top prize of this NBA draft. Is it a lock that Zion is a star at the next level? That answer and more as we continue. Get Up on ESPN.